Good Friday morning, everyone. Dan Ellman here with Keith Fustel, ace handicapper for the Maryland Jockey Club and Equibase chart caller. Welcome to Today at the Races. Main track muddy thus far, Keith. We've had some wet weather as we take a look at our weather conditions.
Yeah, track crew doing a great job trying to get this back to hopefully maybe a fast track by the end of the day. We shall see. Kind of teetering between muddy and good. Plenty of moisture, though, from yesterday. We had some ice in the area. Hope everybody was safe on the roads and everything went okay for that. But glad to have you back for this Friday card. You're talking about temperatures today. What are we getting? Around 40 degrees. It's pretty comfortable with the sun shining. I know a little tricky weather may be coming into play here tomorrow, but right now I'm going to go with a muddy / good track. We'll probably update it when we get back upstairs. We'll give it another good look, but looking forward to this 8-race card.
8-race program, of course, 12% value pick 5 wagers. But we'll kick things off with race number 1. Let's take a look at the field. 5.5 furlongs. It's a 12,500 now winners of 2 life for fillies and mares 4-year-olds and up. Let's take out the number 3, Iced Mocha. The 1, Bonds Bell, is the 2-to-1 morning line favorite. Frock Barn had a couple winners last week.
Yeah, Barn is going quite well. Yeah, the guys from up in Carroll County, up in my neck of the woods. But Bonds Bell, I thought last time out, ran pretty well. We're going to talk about this early value pick 5, though, first. We're going to get to that before we talk a little bit more in depth about race 1. 12% takeout. Reminder, great low takeout on these pick 5s. We've got 2 of them each day. 12% take, 50-cent minimum. Here we go. Here's the ticket. It's a $32 play for me to get you started on this Friday. Let's get it going and get some money in the pocket and just roll from there. But 2 deep in race 1 with the 1 and the 5, Bonds Bell, Stormy Midnight. Race 2, a little spreadarama there, 1, 2, 3, 4, and wrap it up 2 deep in races 3, 4, and 5. We're going to finish it in race 5 with the 3 Rummet and the 10 Freccia d'Argento. Not a whole lot of value there. I don't think we've got a home run in store early, but if we can get something manageable, a few $100s in our pocket. Even you saw back on Sunday, we didn't have any double-digit winners in that early pick 5. It still paid over 600, so it's there. The value still holds in these low takeout pick 5s.
Now, for the most part, the pick 5s have been paying pretty well. You do have Bonds Bell as one of your 2 horses in the opening leg of the early 12% pick 5. Bonds Bell exceeded the Beyer par for this level 2 starts back, has good tactical speed. Just seems to be coming into this race in pretty good form.
Ran into a pretty tough horse last night. To put it all together, Edge of Town, we're going to see her later today for trainer Cal Lynch. But Bonds Bell, I thought, just was hampered. Outside trip, couldn't really quite get involved, made a little bit of a middle move. I like to turn back to 5.5. She's proven here with a win and a third. The 2-back try when breaking the maiden was really good. Overcame that early adversity, a bump, a pinch back at the break. Made that 4-wide move, beating my Sassy Valentine, who came back to score the other day. Trouble trip, we're going to show you right now on the 5, though. Stormy Midnight. It's a horse, Dan, you do not have into the mix, but I think this filly is a player from the get-go. Really a tough start last time out on January 17th.
Yes, Stormy Midnight broke from post position 3, and you're going to take a look from the head on there. Just bumped and pinched back all the way at the start. And when you have that sort of start going 3/4 of a mile, it's very difficult to get the job done. Trying to get into it with a wide bid on the turn, but this is only a 6-furlong race. Stormy Midnight still passes a couple of horses in the stretch, and this horse does have some wet track pedigree. The dam won 4 races on a wet track. She has foaled 1 wet track winner. You saw she kind of got stuck in between horses there turning for home. It just wasn't an ideal trip. Now, she didn't break well 2 starts back at Aqueduct. You could argue she was in a little bit tough that day. She is going to show a lot more tactical speed if she gets away.
Absolutely, but the road could go through the 6. Your top selection here, Doris slaying it. I thought outran a pretty quick horse, Lottie Dino, early on. The Shea Clear just couldn't hold late when corralled there nearing mid-stretch. But do you see her kind of on a dead send mission with Alvelo?
I think you have to go here, and Alvelo had his choice on this one. A nice Mocha, who scratched, decided to go with Doris's Slaying. It did press that last place finisher last time out, eventually got the better of that horse, but never got a breather. The minute she put away that horse was immediately challenged by the odds-on winner and ended up tiring. I'm hoping maybe she doesn't have to work so hard in the early portion of this race, and the 5-year-old is lightly raced enough that maybe we've yet to see her best.
Absolutely. Get a little scratch in her Vice Mocha, who I thought was going to bring some speed to the table off the 4.5s at Charlestown. So it's Stormy Midnight, who hasn't gotten away the greatest the last couple. She does it again. Doris slaying it out on the engine here. They're going to try to take this field coast to coast.
Let's move on to race number 2. Taking a look at this field, it's a $45,000 maiden down to 36. Maryland sired horses may waive the claiming price. Field of 7 in here. She's No Uncle. She's 9-5 morning line favorite. This race does kick off the pick 4. If you happen to get knocked out of the pick 5, jump right back in. 50-cent minimum pick 4, early and late daily. This is, of course, the first leg of the early pick 4. Let's start things off with She's No Uncle. That was a promising debut for Cal Lynch. Showed good early speed. Set the pressured pace outside a 6-1 shot that ended up finished 4th. Didn't like that she didn't change leads in the stretch that day, but probably gained a ton from that experience.
Yeah, they're right back at you. She's No Uncle and Buckin Wright, who was in that pace battle around the turn. Buckin Wright had the inside. They're going to switch positions here today, and they look like the proven speed, I think, in race number 2. I like the way She's No Uncle held, despite being on the left lead. But then you look at the family, Buckin Wright, Angel in the Morning, that family, proven at the 7-8. So it'll be interesting. I don't think they want to get tangled up again. Little spy tactics by the jockeys, I think, going into the turn. We got a stat, though, on the 1, right? She's No Uncle for Cal Lynch.
Second out maidens on the dirt, 3 for the last 10. Positive return on investment. Cal's horses win first out. They win second out, especially on the dirt. And you're right, She's No Uncle is going to show some speed from the inside post under J. Rod. Let's talk a little bit about my top selection, the number 3, Ready for Magic. We've got a video spotlight for Ready for Magic. Let's take a look at this horse who was racing on a sloppy track last time out and is prompting a 7-2 shot that ends up finishing last. So this pace is pretty quick, and you see Ready for Magic make an early move to make the lead. Not sure whether she inherited the lead because this 4-horse was tiring so bad, but she was able to hang on all the way down to the wire and ending up second best to the favorite. The 4th place finisher came back, placed in a maiden special weight at Parks with a 55 buyer speed figure. So this horse won the pace battle, lost the race war, and I don't think necessarily needs the lead. If the 1 and the 2 go, why can't Ready for Magic just tuck in behind?
See another, tracking trip for Ready for Magic. I think Zambrana is going to go ahead and let that speed go. I think She's No Uncle is going to be eager, along with Buckin Wright, to get that early position. I do think that she's going to settle in a good stalking spot. You saw the way she cruised to the lead around the turn, just a little short that last 1/8 of a mile, but that flow was enough to take some starch out of her. Comment game, I thought she held quite well. Lasix going on today. First time Lasix for trainer Troy Singh.
Now you've got a first-time starter on top in here. The number 4, Mopo. Tyus Liapastina takes them out for Phil Capuano, who can certainly send one out ready to go. And this horse has a strong pedigree.
Very strong pedigree. Mare bottom side, 1 for 7, but did win second out. 8 winning siblings. I've got a little marker on. I have the stakes place below. I think you've got a couple more of the horses, from a breeding aspect through this one as siblings too.
Yeah, half to a stakes place dirt sprinter named Ignite, another multiple stakes place dirt sprinter instructor Kunu. This horse is bred for speed, top and bottom. Damn one on the wet. She has foaled 4 wet track winners. Early money's going to tell the tale on Mopo. Let's talk a little bit about some of the other first-time starters in here. The 7 Holy Fit is by Catholic Boy, a $25,000 yearling. The Dam was a stakes-winning dirt sprinter. She's a half to a multiple stakes-winning sprinter on turf and synthetic. The Dam won 4 races on a wet track. That last workout is interesting to me. 5/8, 103 and change out of the gate. Same time as Pure Majestic, who I think won the Salima last year for Jerry Robb. So maybe they worked in company. Something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, absolutely. And this track hasn't been ablazing right in the morning, so you're seeing some of these horses. They may look a little bit pedestrian normally. No, not so fast when you really take a look at it. Take a look back, compare it to everybody else, and a great note working who this horse possibly might have worked with. Going back to Mopo, though, real quick, talking about the owner-trainer combination as well. I love it. Of late, we're only going back the last 2 years and a day, I think it is. 3 for 5 with the first-time starters and an ROI of $13. There you go. There's that stat. Phil Capuano and the whole family, Mopo, even going back with Dale.
Oh, absolutely.
Strong Maury Povich, the whole group. So tab the tote. The works have not been as quick as we've kind of normally seen with these runners, but the family is there, and great notion, 17% with the first time strike rate.
And speaking of family, real quick, the 6 Cross of Valor, Blofeld filly, she's a half to feed to Spree, a very,
Yeah.
very fast
Yes.
sprinter for Jerry Robb back in the day. It'll be interesting what we see from Cross of Valor, trained by Ferris Allen. Let's move on to race number 3. Taking a look at the field for this 6-furlong sprint. It is a starter optional claimer, $8,000 starter allowance, $12,000 the claiming option, 8 to 5 on the 2B West. This is our first leg of our Chesapeake Pick 6, 20-cent minimum wager for the Chesapeake Pick 6. Of course, that is a jackpot wager. Let's talk a little bit about B West. This horse is just very, very hardy. We have a video spotlight for B West's most recent race, and this horse just had a disastrous beginning.
Yeah.
Just the start hurt this horse completely.
Really bad. Pinch back out of the gate. You see the horse just to his inside, a little stumble, and when trying to recover, goes out in the path, and then the 7 horse drifts into a couple paths. The really squeezeroo went on there for B West, and it was taken wide from there. The overland route 4 and 5 wide pretty much throughout. Johnny French Fry, the other Kieran, was able to kind of just get to the front and coast, but I like the heart B West showed.
Just watch B West just chug along in the final 1/8 of a mile to get up for second. Not only did he break slow, not only did he lose a ton of ground, he's rallying into a very slow pace. Johnny French Fry was able to walk the dog, and he is in extremely sharp form. He came back to run second the other day in a $7,500 claimer with a 73 buyer. We know that B West, when he gets out of the gate, is tactical. He is a hard hitter. He's won 8 of 20 for Kieran McGee. He's going to be real tough in here.
And we like to say, I like to, call the protect move as well. Was able to get away with it with the tag last time. Not today. Protected for the connections. I think Kieran's really super strong. I think the road's going to go through the 2 or the 7 pit stop. Man, I like Dan. This guy I've always liked. 6-year-old now, going 3rd off of a break. And don't let that buyer fool you, maybe, from Charlestown. 61, it just looks so. Alvy, that was a pretty deep field for that starter company. And you look at the 2-back race behind Collaborate where he was put up. He's got more speed, and I think he could be the speed of the speed here. If Acosta wants to go ahead and go. He's going to fight you 3rd off the break.
Not only is he going 3rd off the break, but he's returning on pretty short notice. Here's our trainer stat for Pit Stop Man: 1 day to 2 week layoffs, 3 for the last 10, $2.20 ROI. Not sure there were too many 1-day layoff runners for Kieran, but when Kieran wheels them back, they run well. Nice attack outside post position, good positional speed, potentially the speed of the speed. Let's talk about Big Daddy's Boy. This is the number 8. Now, we talked about the speed. This horse is a true closer. Last time out, just tried to work out an inside-out trip and was gaining ground late. Also likes a wet track.
Doesn't mind the wet track. Keying up against the right kind. Just got beat by B West a couple of races back. But pace dependency, we shall see. I don't know if things are going to be really blazing out front in this race. He's going to have to get within, I'd say, 3 to 4 by the quarter pole. If he's a little bit further back than that, I'm going to wonder, especially if that half goes up in like a 46-3, 47 flat, it could be trouble. But you know what? He's put together, the last 2 races are very, very good. Turning back a furlong, he'll be firing up. Will it be too little, too late? That's the question for Big Daddy's Boy. I think Addie's Laddie TNT is a horse we really have to pay close attention to. A barn change. Jose Corrales going first time off the claim for this barn. Not a barn that claims a ton, but it's a good good strike rate, a good ROI. Could have shown you that start again. We could have picked it up if we went back, but ducked in at the start in that Johnny French Fry B West race. Took a while to get straightened, couple moves in that race before fading. Forest Boyce will fit this horse like a glove.
I have a feeling that Forrest is going to be a lot more aggressive on this horse than we've seen recently. They've made a concerted effort to rate this horse in the last 2 or 3 starts. This horse has a lot more speed than that. And if there isn't speed to the outside, I think Addie's Laddie TNT can be right there when the real racing commences. Keith's going 7, 2, 3, and 8. I'm going 2, 8, 7, and 5 in race number 3, the first leg of our 20-cent Chesapeake Pick 6. Race number 4, also at 3/4 of a mile. This is for 3-year-old fillies. It's a first-level allowance race with a $62,500 claiming option. We've got some talented horses in here. The 5 Malibu Hooch, 9 to 5 morning line favorite, second in the Maryland Million Lassie. The 4 Safe Trust is the 2 to 1 second choice on the morning line. This horse is multiple stakes placed. So we've got some talented horses in this race, and it's also the kickoff leg of the 12% late late value pick 5, low 12% takeout. Again, it's a great bet. And the late pick 5 offers carryover potential. Our colleague Mackenzie, 5% in a ticket. Let's take a look.
Okay, she's going to kick it off 4 deep to get you started. 1, 4, 5, and 7. I really like In My Memories today. She's going to toss in a Safe Trust, Malibu Hooch, and Rosie on the River. If you can't add Atlantis Queen, maybe. I think she might be dangerous. The blinkers and Lasix today is the speed. Race 5, 3 and the 8. They look like the 2. I think Rummett's going to get put into the flow early by J-Rod. Freccia Giorgiano's going to try to make that run, a grinding run at that, and get it done. Race 6, 2 deep with the 1 and the 2. Heard on the street. We're going to have a stat for that one and a video a little bit later. Race 7, 2 deep as well. Edge of Town and Bondiva. Another one in sharp form for trainer Tim Keefe and jockey Forrest. Boys, wrap it up. 3 runners in the last. The 3, the 6, the 7. Scratch the 8, 7 run. A real key scratch. Race 8, really trying to find who's going to be the speed in this 5.5 furlong nightcap.
Yeah, $48 ticket for Mackenzie's 12% late value pick 5 wager. Again, 50-cent minimum play. Let's talk a little bit about your top selection. The only 3-time winner in the field is the number 1, In My Memories. We've got a video spotlight for In My Memories' most recent start. This was a very impressive performance because she's battling for the lead inside a 5-to-1 shot that's going to fade to finish 5th, and then just keeps right on going and holds off a good closer in Chikara Fire.
I liked her turning back. She got away at an unbelievable price. She ran well with trouble. Her 2 races prior, I thought, was very willing. I thought she'd come from just off of it this particular day. No. Hernandez, just aggressive early, got engaged through pretty decent internals, and was very eager when kicking away. I like this move. This is going to be second time Lasix for the barn, beating Shakira Fire, who came back to run second in the extra heat stakes. I don't think she needs to be on the lead, but I like her form right now. And fair, here's the stat.
Second time Lasix 5 for the last 12, 42% at 280 ROI. In My Memories can win from on the lead, can win from off of it. Inside Post might force the jock's hand a little bit, but I think this horse is very tactical and shouldn't be too far away.
He had it last time, Hernandez, with this filly, and she did break just a beat slow. But, man, she quickly recovered and got in there, was very eager to go. I think right now, I think she can get Poe. I think she's faster than Chicken Lincoln just to her outside. The one I fear is the 3. You've got her kind of 4th down the ladder a little bit. Atlantis Queen, blinkers on, a Lasix on, scratch from the extra heat stakes to go here. I think it's all systems go.
And she just got hooked up in a speed duel last time out, and I think that really hurt Atlantis Queen's chances. She was battling with 2 other horses. One of them, Caprice, is arguably the best 3-year-old filly in the Mid-Atlantic region right now, so it's understandable that Atlantis Queen tired. This time around, Atlantis Queen might make the lead and might not face a ton of pressure. She's a really interesting pace play. Apprentice Zambrana takes them out, so she sheds 8 pounds from her last start. We have a stat for my top selection. That's the 5, Malibu Hooch. This barn does well with first-time Lasix runners on dirt, non-first-time stars, horses with experience. 3 for the last 10, a $3.10 ROI. We talked about how Atlantis Queen might have been pace compromised last time out by dueling on the lead. I think Malibu Hooch was pace compromised in the Maryland Juvenile filly because they just ran 1-2 all the way around the track. Malibu Hooch broke outward, was floated 4 wide turning into the stretch, and then was a little bit one-paced at the end. I know she's better than that when she gets a little bit of pace. The question is, will she get it?
You just quickly glance at her by her speed figures. 67, going back 3 races, 67, 63, 63 most recently with a tough trip, now adding Lasix to stat. Everything kind of adds up for her, I think, to bounce back to a top effort.
Let's talk about Safe Trust, who finished second in the Maryland Juvenile filly last time out, ahead of Malibu Hooch. Now, she was up close to that moderate pace, but she was pressing Caprice. And Caprice is probably just simply better than Safe Trust. Safe Trust hung in there very well, made a little bit of an early lead change on the turn when going after Caprice, but held on well, is in very good form right now. I think that they might try to take her back this time. No one wanted to go with Caprice in the Maryland Juvenile filly. She was sort of forced into that role. Maybe she'll be the one to take back and make one run. It's been successful.
I agree. I can definitely see those tactics. She's shown versatility. The only thing you see staring at you is that 61 to 180-day stat, 3% for the barn. But look at that number, 72 last time out, rising again. I think, the Orojo Corrales combo, Yeah, I think they're going to go ahead and spy the speed today, take back a little bit further, and try to make that run from the 5/16 pole home.
And I know track announcer Dave Rodman has a little interest in the 7, Rosie on the River, cutting back from a route to a sprint, and that worked very well for this one when graduating. Second time out, she won last time, beat a couple of next out winners, including Onyx 10, who won the extra heat with a 70 buyer. A little concerned she's going to get outrun completely as she cuts back to a sprint. She'll kick.
Did it well. Did it from the turf to the 5.5 at Monmouth over the summer. You're talking about a determined run, a slower foe last time. Onyx 10, the heavy favorite, looked gone. Had some trouble. Onyx 10. We've shown that video before, but the determination to go ahead and grind and get up. Yeah, turning back, I think is still okay here for Rosie on the River.
1-3-5-4 for Keith, 5-4-1-3 for me. 4 down, 4 to go. We're going to take a little bit of a break and be back for the late pick 4.
Baltimore! To the city of Baltimore, to all the fans watching around the world, Riders up!
They're off in the Preakness.
All eyes of the world will be on Baltimore.
They're head and head. Seabiscuit leads by a length. Seabiscuit is the winner.
And it was a powerhouse race again by the big, strong Secretariat.
Sunday Silence takes the lead at the quarter pole. American Pharaoh, phenomenal in the Preakness. And the filly did it! Rachel Alexandra! Here is Smarty Jones. He wins the Preakness by a dozen lengths.
She's the brave, wins the Preakness.
Welcome back to the Maryland Jockey Club at Laurel Park for a Friday edition of Today at the Races. I'm Dan Illman. This is Keith Fustel. We're getting set for race number 5, $7,500 claimer down to $6,000 with a beaten condition. Let's take a quick look at this field. You see there are some scratches. The 1, Motown Annie, the 4, Beach Island, the 7, Flinny Tin Tin. We do have a rider change on the 6, Beachgrass, and another scratch on the number 11, Out of Luck. Race number 5 kicks off our late pick 4, 50-cent minimum wager. And I think this is one of the more competitive races on the card, Keith. I think you can go so many different ways. Let's talk about Freccia d'Argento, a horse that is continuing to drop in class and search for her correct level. She was in against open 7500s last time out. Now she's in against condition-claiming foes. Freccia d'Argento goes out for Rudy Sanchez Solomon, and perhaps most importantly, removes blinkers. Here's the trainer stat that we have. Blinkers off, dirt runners, 6 for the last 10, $5.54 ROI. Maybe that's just key for Freccia d'Argento, a horse with some back class.
When you go back, I want to say that she, on the go back, she won a race without blinkers.
She won
Way
one
back.
race without blinkers,
She
August
won, and then
2021.
didn't they come back with blinkers the next start?
No.
No.
Yes, she did.
That's
She's won
what-
2 races with blinkers.
That's what was interesting. So maybe you'll see the hood go on. I mean, the cheek pieces. I know we don't have it, but we'll see. Or maybe it's going to be a hood. I don't know. But Freccia d'Argento, she's one I've chased a lot. She owes me no money. I expected a little bit better kick last time, Dan. She didn't quite bring it. A little flattening, I thought, through that last eighth of a mile. Really didn't get a chance to save any ground. I think it's going to need to do that today at the one-turn mile. Could be critical, but I mean, she fires close to a B-plus race. She should be right there at the end.
You really said a mouthful, though, about you have to save ground going the one-turn mile because the long stretch of the second wire is so taxing. You have to save something for it. And if you remember that last race, Baby Sox just got a great ride from Tyus Liapastina, really in the 1-2 path throughout, while Freccia d'Argento was 4-5 wide after the opening quarter mile. I think she deserves another chance based on her overall body of work. It'll be interesting to see how she gets bet, as well as the number 3. That's Rument, our top selection in this race, coming in from Parks for J-Rod and J. Ness. And I thought this horse last time out, it looks a little bit disappointing on paper. I thought that track was an inside speed favoring track, but the winner came from way out of it. So I'm not sure if really that race was bias, aided for anybody. I think Rument was, though, on a hard chase, going to get close to the pace here.
2-back try was really good when she topped out at a 65 buyer figure, up with the flow at the 2 turns at Parks to kick away. She stepped up through the next condition. And my comment is oddly run race. I just thought it was, I went back and watched it a couple times. Summary Judgment is a 12-time winner who galloped, I think, prior for Open 75. got the lead outside, opened up 5 or 6. Rumet went on that hard chase from the quarter pole. They tried to, preserve as much as he could, did Silvera. She kept trying, and just a little flattening late. Dixie came from the clouds, had to have been 20, 25 out of it by the time they entered the backstretch. But I think all in all, it was a pretty good effort. And I think when looking at this race, maybe Latasha, if she breaks a little bit better today, can kind of go ahead and go. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of proven speed. So I think J-Rod gets aggressive here, and Rumen a factor right from the get-go.
Yeah, I think a similar trip as last time. I just don't think the pace will be as fast,
Correct.
and I think Latash might be a horse that she might be able to reel in a little bit earlier, but she will have to deal with a long stretch of the mile run, which could help your your third choice in here. The number 9, Looking for Water, who is a confirmed closer, got wired last time out by a runaway who was benefiting from the class drop, and one of the horses from that race has already come back to win at Charlestown by open lengths with a 50 Beyer speed figure. Looking for Water is a horse that kind of settles for seconds and thirds a lot. Maybe that'll be the case again here.
Yeah, jumping a condition as well, right? I mean, I know fits the date condition, but has only won 2 races lifetime. So she's proven she can run against this kind. And you're looking at the internals last night, 25. That was an odd race as well. Carol Girl, that was early in the card, was well removed from the rail, able to control it for Gorham. Another odd race on a heavier track. Looking for Water, any kind of pace help. This horse should fire.
Trainer Gina Perry won with a sprint to route runner last week. That was buoyant. Going to try it again with Bad Temper, a horse that is a proven commodity over a mile, a proven commodity over a wet track, and is a horse that I think is an underrated form.
I think this is one, Jeannie and a Bridle got the drop there from Open Company as well. So a little bit better, that race, a little bit better than what it looks like. Unhurried, inside a belated run. You talked about proven 5 for 9 in the money with a win at the 1-turn mile. Bad Temper works. I think Alvelo, he's an underrated rider. He hasn't been riding a ton of late, but he can work out trips. He's not afraid to save some ground. You're going to see that, I think, that sneaky inside move around the turn. Then he'll have to navigate it from there. Will he get enough help, though? Because I think this horse, Bad Temper, Looking for Water, they're similar styles, even a Yum Yum Eat It Up. They could be closing, it's almost like a threesome, say, from the top of the stretch home.
Let's move on to race number 6, going 5.5 furlongs. State-sired allowance race. We'll take out the 5. Bandit's Golden Child. Take out the 7. The Big Enchilada, the 1 Heard on the Street, is the 7-5 morning line favorite, and why not? Heard on the Street last time out looked very, very good. Let's take a look at the video spotlight from the race at Aqueduct. This race is on January the 17th, and Heard on the Street was facing a very, very good field, and she kicked hard.
Yeah, that was a strong run into that flow, 23-1, 46 and change, and kept on coming. And goes ahead and beats a horse. Now, I didn't dig a little bit deeper. This GT 500, pretty good.
Pretty good. Came right back to win the very next start by 7.5 lengths in a similar spot with a 95 Beyer speed figure. No quit for Heard on the Street and running that horse down, and this horse just seems to fit. Now, the question for me is, how is he going to handle cutting back to 5.5? Now in the barn of Mike Chiralis, first after the trainer switch, high percentage, good ROI. But this horse is going to have to turn back to 5.5. Does he get outrun early?
I think he's going to be probably 4 or 5 out of it by the time they hit the far turn. I do. I think the jocks, J-Rod, might just try to urge a little bit, get some po, but ease back off. Elvis himself, SS Sinatra, quick, so is Restless, pretty fast. But then I think this horse can definitely ramp it up. Nice little move here. The Maryland bred and a little bit tougher. Our Larry Johnson bred is coming in here for this first level. Maryland bred, Maryland sired allowance. Yeah, sentimental play here.
Sentimental play, of course. We'll talk about Larry Johnson before the end of the show. It's a shame of his passing. SS Sinatra is the number 3 in here, going out for Kerry Holbein, who sent out Crossland to win at 8-1 on January the 24th. This horse is very comfortable at 5.5 furlongs. Last time I took a little bit of a bump at the start, was really on the attack from the get-go, and ended up finishing a close second inside a sharp favored winner. SS Sinatra, to me, with that newfound tactical speed, can be placed anywhere Cruz wants. I don't mind this rider switch.
I think the toughest thing, don't get kind of caught in between rivals. You might see Elvis himself, who might be the pure speed and Restless just to the outside. Avoid that kind of flow. But this guy's been gritty of late. Turf or dirt, it doesn't really matter. I love to try 2 races back when he got checked and then came back on gamely at the end in that run against Lady Dance. But keying up against Full Irish, who went back up to Charlestown and beat Restless.
Let's watch that stretch drive. Full Irish, SS Sinatra last time out, and Full Irish again, just in very, very good form. And SS Sinatra is going to make a run at this horse on the outside. This is a very strong run going 3/4 of a mile. For a second, it looks like this horse has Full Irish in a little bit of trouble. SS Sinatra in between horses, working hard, and really doesn't let Full Irish get away. You talked about this horse's grit and determination, and in between horses, he shows a ton of it.
Yeah, he carried it a long way caught in between, and here I'm talking about it again. He doesn't mind it, and running up to a top number last time out for trainer Kerry Holbein, had that winner the other day, right, with Crossland. Barn doing well in this one. Right from the opening bell, SS Sinatra is a major player in race number 6, but I do think this Maryland bred coming in is going to be dangerous from just off the pace.
Let's talk about race number 7. It is the kickoff leg of the late daily double, and we'll scratch the number 6. Not a Bother leaves us with a field of 5. Sister Supreme, Ness, Michael Sanchez, 8-5 on the morning line. This mare has speed.
Yeah, she's got some speed. She, and looking at this race at 7/8, there's not a whole lot of it. Bondiva, who I think has gotten really into the relax and rate a little bit mode. She used to have that speed go right to the front. What's her plan here? Does she just inherit the lead, or do you think Sister Supreme, second off the break, goes ahead and gets aggressive and tries to just kind of say, catch me if you can, and if you engage me, I think off the route, it's certainly going to have plenty of bottom to carry him a long way.
Yeah, I don't think they're fooling around with Sister Supreme breaking from this inside post. I think they're going to go because she had to go fast in that 2-turn heat last time out. Opening quarter, 24-3, had to quicken it up to a 24-1 second quarter, and then paid the price. She's won sprinting in the past. She is versatile, so she's off a half length slower, so from the rail she can adapt. But I do think Sister Supreme is going to be very aggressive. The question is, what do you do with the 2 Edge of Town? Usually it's J-Rod and Ness. J-Rod here rides for Cal Lynch, and Edge of Town looked very, very good. Here's our video spotlight for the most recent start. I think Edge of Town's found a home here over this circuit. This is a big effort.
Yeah, we gave you this one twice, didn't we, today? Now that I forgot about it, I was looking, I was okay, we got a little repeat going on, but definitely, she put it all together second time for Cal Lynch. Got a beautiful duel up in front. I don't think she's going to get that today, but I think she's kind of got that 7/8 style of run too. Stay in the clear, level off, and which she did beautifully, leaving the 5/16 to go ahead and get the lead. It's going to edge away late, and that last 16th of a mile is when things really worked for her. I think she's going to like the added furlong today. Steps up, claiming to the allowance, catches the right kind of field for this move today.
Curious to see what Bondiva does after her most recent start. I thought overall Forest Boyce gave her a beautiful trip. Found the pocket, the inside opened up. Bondiva shot on through, and for a brief second, it looked like she was going to win that race.
She had the lead.
Ended up dropping. Did she hang, or was she got beaten by a gamer horse that day? The 4th place finisher did come back to win a non-winners of 2 claimer for $32,000 with a 75 buyer. I'm going to be a little bit more charitable than you guys up in the Equibase chart call. You said she hung last time, and I think she's tougher than that. All right, I'll take care of Bill.
My man Bill, he is tough, but you know what? I respect his opinion.
Of course.
And you're right. She looked like she was going to get a tough nose bob beat, and So anyhow, but moving out to 7, what are your thoughts here? I mean, she's definitely bringing a little bit better finish. It's just the way can she sustain another furlong?
I think the key is how fast they're going to go early, because I can see her sitting second off of the number 1, Sister Supreme, and she might be on a hard chase, and it might be a tough ask. You have to put away a tough nest train runner, and then you have to hold off a closer like Edge of Town. So she might be stuck between a rock and a hard place. Demand a little bit of value on Bondiva, but she's very honest. 8 of 12 on the board. Ballantyne is a horse a little bit underrated. Beautiful ride by Tylai 2 starts back, going the 1-turn mile over a muddy track where she was able to stay close to a moderate pace and then shoot on home. The pace was a little bit faster last time out, but she really didn't give a ton of ground.
No, she didn't. She kept trying to the wire. The 2-back try of beating Concrete Phase, who I think went ahead and didn't really. She ran okay against the boys last weekend. So pay attention to that. Yes, she certainly works here. Sanchez Solomon, though, trying to get things ramped up for this barn. But you're right. I can see it. I can see Sanchez going ahead and going with Sister Supreme. I just like the bottom. She's got the build up. I like that race. A couple races back at Parks, it works for me. So I'm 1, 2, 3, 5. Dan. 3, 2, 5, 1 in race 7.
Let's close it out with the finale. 5.5 furlongs, maiden claimer, 12,500. Big scratch in here. The 8 Severn run was going to take a lot of money in here. He ran very, very well last time out. You talked about it in the open. The key to this race might be finding out who is the speed. I wonder if it's one of the first-time starters, Andy's Bourbon Guy, or Bye Bye Wicked Eye, your topic, who I think ran a lot better than it looks last time.
Bye Bye Wicked Eye got kind of sent up in there, caught wide, made that move, and the horses that, we thought they were, one of them was the big dropper, right? The Define Boundaries, if I'm not. I think they both were dropping, and that was the Tim Keefe, but Define was coming back down a little bit further, but willing enough. Now at 5.5 is really the only one in here that's shown that proven, I want to say super early lick, but some early lick in the races, and it just might pay enough for him this afternoon. But looking at the first, as you look at the 2, Andy's Bourbon Guy, Cloud Computing up top, Artie's Bourbon Girl at the bottom side, 8 for 43 was that mare with a top of 79. First full. Second Dan was all speed, so maybe it'll transfer and it'll work for this too. And then Robbie's horse, the 4. I'll talk to you about that one. Only one start, took some play at Charlestown, did not come out of the gate well from that tougher inside post at 4.5. I would have liked to seen some kind of run from the back. I didn't, was under a ride, but that Robbie stat second out, screams, okay, you better pay a little bit of attention in this race. But I don't know if you can trust a lot. I'm going to hope that Toledo breaks this horse well. Bye Bye Wicked Eye can go right to the front.
I just thought Bye Bye Wicked Eye was compromised by the flow last time out. That pace was very, very slow. Bye Bye Wicked Eye is 4 wide after a half mile and forced to be on the run, and then ends up behind the 2 favorites. Just seems to fit very well from a class and pace perspective. You talked about We Called Saul. Didn't break well, but they ran 1, 2, 3 all the way around the track in a sharp sprint. It's too early to give up on him. Sire, 20% wet track. Dam won on a wet track. This is a wet track pedigree. Let's talk about Imperial Spy, the number 7. Now, maybe this horse is just simply going to be compromised by a lack of flow, because last time out, this horse did get a quick pace to attack. Ran okay, flopped back to the left lead at the very end for Linda Albert, but from a figure standpoint, nothing to argue about.
No, it works in here, and I was a little disappointed. I thought he'd follow through a little bit better. He was under a hard ride from the 3/8 pole, giving chase to those leaders, ranged up on that left lead and said, no mas from the 8th pole home. Maybe second time Lasix and a little shortening up here to 5.5. Might enhance the run, but is he going to get enough help?
Your 4th place finisher, Brewmaster, by the way, a 1/2 to 6 wet track winners, so maybe Brewmaster will appreciate some moisture in the surface. Before we get to our value plays, let's talk a little bit about Mr. Larry Johnson, who passed away earlier in the week. Just such an influential breeder and owner here in the Mid-Atlantic region.
He'd been part of this for so long, and behind the scenes as well, doing positive work for the game. It was a shock when Robin called me up, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. I did not see this one coming. Always enjoyed, a couple times I met him. I saw him out at the Breeders' Cup years ago going into Santa Anita. He was as cordial and as nice as could be to me. Any of the times that we met, we had some great discussions. But, it's a tough loss. Those black and white silks, some of the great runners. Future is now, and if you're looking at a way that he's kind of unfortunately depart, boy, what a way and what he had going. And let's just hope somebody can pick up and run with it.
Yeah, Mr. Johnson always had a smile on his face, loved to talk horses, was constantly just excited about the game. The passion was undeniable. He will certainly be missed. Let's take a look at our value plays for the Friday card before we send it up to Dave Rodman. Keith, you're going to go with race number 4, the lone 3-time winner. Yeah,
in my memories, I just really liked the way this one ran last time. Had those trouble trips. Hernandez says, you know what, we're going to go ahead and go and engage, and he did with this filly. And I think she's versatile enough. She's a 3-time winner. She's proven she wants to win. If she avoids any kind of adversity into the turn, I think she's got to be 1-2 in here.
Ready for Magic is going to be my value play in race number 2, the number 3, 3-1 on the morning line. Won the duel, lost the war last time out. I think is going to work out a trip sitting behind the 2 horses directly to her inside. That wraps it up for the Friday edition of Today at the Races. Mackenzie Pfeiffer, Callie Francois, Dave Rodman. They'll take you along through our 8-race program all afternoon. And speaking of the raw dog, let's send it up to him for scratches and changes.
All right, good luck.